안녕하세요. Good afternoon.
네, 반갑습니다. 대한민국 대통령이 안보리 의장 자격으로 안보리 회의를 주재하는 것은 이번이 처음입니다. 매우 뜻깊게 생각합니다. 특히 AI 관련해 전 유엔 회원국을 대상으로 열리는 첫 공개토의의 주제를 맡게 돼서 매우 의미 깊게 생각합니다. 1991년 유엔 가입 이래 대한민국 정부가 안보리 이사국을 맡은 건 이번이 세 번째입니다. 유엔의 도움으로 전쟁의 폐허를 딛고 민주화와 경제 번영을 동시에 달성한 우리 대한민국이 이제 인류의 평화와 공동 번영을 위해 막중한 역할과 책임을 다하고자 합니다. 오늘 회의 또한 대한민국이 더 나은 세계를 만드는 데 앞장서고 있음을 보여주는 중요한 계기가 될 것입니다. 오늘날 인공지능 기술의 발전은 우리의 일상을 변화시키는 것을 넘어 국제적인 안보 환경까지 급격하게 변화시키고 있습니다. 80년 전 출범한 유엔의 주요 관심사는 새롭게 등장한 핵무기의 위협을 국제사회가 어떻게 관리하느냐였습니다. 이제 인공지능이라는 새로운 위협과 도전에 걸맞는 새로운 거버넌스를 모색해야 될 때입니다. 대한민국은 인공지능이 가져온 기술 혁신이 국제 평화와 안보에 기여할 수 있도록 국제사회와의 협력을 이끌어왔습니다. 이번 유엔총회에서 AI와 국제평화 안보를 주제로 공개토의를 제안한 이유도 많은 회원국들의 지혜를 모으고 공동의 대응 방안을 모색하기 위해서입니다. 평화, 안보, 그리고 인류를 위한 AI를 위해 심도 있는 논의가 이루어지기를 기대합니다. 감사합니다.
As it will be the first time that a President of the Republic of Korea chairs a Security Council meeting in the capacity of President of the Security Council. It is even more meaningful because this is the first time that a Security Council open debate will focus on artificial intelligence as its main agenda. Since the Republic of Korea joined the United Nations in 1991, this is the third time that my country has taken on the role of a non-permanent member at the Security Council. The Republic of Korea, which has risen from the ashes of war with the help of the United Nations and simultaneously achieved democratization and economic prosperity, now seeks to fulfill its responsibility and play a consequential role for the peace and prosperity of mankind. I believe that today's open debate will be an opportunity for the Republic of Korea to display its leading role in creating a better world. The advances in AI technology has gone beyond changing our daily lives to drastically shifting the international security environment. 80 years ago, when the United Nations was
제80차 안보리 회의를 시작하겠습니다. 이 회의의 잠정 의제는 국제평화와 안보 유지, AI와 국제평화 안보입니다. 네, 의제가 채택되었습니다. 안보리 회의장에 함께하신 유엔 사무총장님, 그리고 각국 대통령님, 총리님, 그리고 고위급 대표들을 환영합니다. 여러분께서 오늘 이 자리에 함께해 주신 것은 우리가 논의하는 이 주제의 중요성을 잘 보여준다고 하겠습니다. 여러분 앞에 안보리 잠정 의사규칙 제37항, 39항 그리고 안보리의 기존 관행에 따라 참석을 요청한 발언자 명단이 놓여 있습니다. 회의에 참석토록 초청할 것을 제안드립니다. 특별한 반대가 없으시므로 결정되었습니다. 안보리는 이제 두 번째 의제를 심의하겠습니다. 안보리 문서 S2025-593 관련 안보리 이사국들의 주의를 환기코자 합니다. 해당 문서는 2025년 9월 18일 주 유엔 대한민국 대사가 유엔 사무총장에게 보낸 서한으로 현재 심의 중인 의제에 관한 컨셉 페이퍼를 포함하고 있습니다. 이제 안토니우 구테레시 유엔 사무총장님의 브리핑을 듣겠습니다.
Mr. President, Excellencies, I thank the Republic of Korea for convening this high-level open debate at a decisive moment for global cooperation on artificial intelligence. AI is no longer a distant horizon. It is here, transforming daily life, the information space, and the global economy at breathtaking speed. The question is not whether AI will influence international peace and security, but how we will shape that influence. Used responsibly, AI can strengthen prevention and protection, anticipating food insecurity and displacement, supporting demining, helping identify potential outbreaks of violence, and so much more. But without guardrails, it can also be weaponized. Recent conflicts have become testing grounds for AI-powered targeting and autonomy. AI-enabled cyber attacks can disrupt or destroy critical infrastructure in minutes. The ability to fabricate and manipulate audio and video threatens information integrity, fuels polarization, and can trigger diplomatic crises. And the massive energy and water demands of large-scale models, coupled with competition over critical minerals, are creating new drivers of tension. Excellencies, innovation must serve humanity, not undermine it. Last month, the General Assembly established an independent international scientific panel on artificial intelligence and an annual global dialogue on AI governance. This is a recognition of the unique convening power of the UN. Together, these initiatives aim to connect science, policy, and practice, provide every country a seat at the table, and reduce fragmentation. They represent practical tools to make AI safer, more inclusive, and more accountable. I will soon launch an open call for nominations for the scientific panel. I urge all member states to nominate eminent, diverse experts and support the panel's expertise, independence, and regional balance with the resources needed for timely, science-based assessments. I also call on governments and stakeholders to engage fully in the global dialogue and to shape inclusive, human rights-based global norms. Excellencies, today I wish to focus on 4 priorities. First, we must ensure human control over the use of force. Let us be clear, humanity's fate cannot be left to an algorithm. Humans must always retain authority over life and death decisions. The Council and Member States must ensure that military use of AI remains in full compliance with international law and the Charter, and human control and judgment must be preserved in every use of force. I reiterate my call for a ban on lethal autonomous weapon systems operating without human control, with a view to concluding a legally binding instrument by next year. And until nuclear weapons are eliminated, any decision on their use must rest with humans, not machines. Second, we must build coherent global regulatory frameworks. From design to deployment to decommissioning, AI systems must always comply with international law. Military uses must be clearly regulated through legal reviews, human accountability, and strong safeguards against misuse. We need greater transparency, confidence building, and cooperation to reduce risks, especially in conflict zones. AI must never lower barriers to acquiring or using prohibited weapons or undermine disarmament obligations. I welcome the Responsible Artificial Intelligence and the Military Domain Initiative and commend your leadership in these efforts. Last December, the General Assembly adopted a resolution on AI in the military domain and its implications for international peace and security. Building on that, I presented a report to the General Assembly recommending states to take concrete steps to initiate a dedicated and inclusive process to address this issue. I urge Member States to take this forward. Third, we must protect information integrity in situations of conflict and insecurity. The UN Global Principles for Information Integrity provide a foundation for coordinated action. Governments, platforms, media, and civil society must cooperate to detect and deter AI-generated deception, from disinformation campaigns to deepfakes targeting peace processes, humanitarian access, and elections. We need transparency in the entire AI life cycle. Rapid and verified attribution of information sources and their dissemination, and systematic safeguards to prevent AI systems from spreading disinformation and igniting violence. Excellences, quatrièmement, enfin, nous devons combler les écarts de capacité en matière d'intelligence artificielle. La technologie peut être un moteur de développement durable, de stabilité et de paix. Nous devons permettre à toutes les nations de contribuer à façonner l'avenir de l'intelligence artificielle. Cela demande d'investir dans le renforcement des capacités, de soutenir le développement des talents, de mettre en place des infrastructures publiques sûres et fiables, de promouvoir la diversité des données pour réduire les biais et de garantir un accès équitable aux outils d'intelligence artificielle, à la puissance de calcul et à la formation. Le mois dernier, j'ai présenté un rapport proposant des options de financement volontaires et innovantes pour soutenir la montée en capacité de IA dans les pays en développement. Je vous exhorte à soutenir ces efforts. Excellences, qu'il s'agisse du contrôle des armements nucléaires ou de la sécurité aérienne, la communauté internationale a su relever le défi des technologies susceptibles de déstabiliser nos sociétés en établissant des règles, en créant des institutions et en plaçant la dignité humaine au premier plan. La fenêtre d'opportunité pour façonner l'IA au service de la paix, de la justice et de l'humanité est en train de se refermer. Nous devons agir sans tarder et je vous remercie.
네, 우리 사무총장님 브리핑 감사합니다. 이제 요수아 벤지오 몬트리올 대학 교수님의 브리핑을 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President of the Republic of Korea, Your Excellency Lee Jae-myung, Thanks for offering me the opportunity to speak with the Security Council today. We start with a bit of looking backwards. In recent years, we've seen the trajectory of AI going towards greater and greater capabilities. And it is being particularly surprising even for experts in the field, including myself. The scientific data is very clear. The ability of AI to solve tasks and to perform like humans and have agency have been advancing rapidly. Many researchers are concerned that as companies are starting to use AI to advance AI research, this could even accelerate. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball, and nobody knows what the future advances are going to be and how fast they will go, but we can look at the past trends, and if these trends continue, some AIs could surpass most humans across most cognitive tasks in as little as 5 years, maybe 10 years. This would be a radical change in the history of mankind. Trillions of dollars are being invested to develop AI further and further, and we're now seeing how quickly this technology is evolving, fundamentally transforming our economies and our societies, including the military. Yet, scientists still do not know how to design AIs that will not harm people, that will always act according to our instructions, that will comply with human rights and human dignity. We don't know how to do that. In a recent study that just came out, OpenAI concluded that AI hallucinations are unavoidable with currently known designs. If we don't learn how to build trustworthy AI, humans are under threat from AI misuse by bad actors or through the misalignment of AI systems with societal norms and laws. Advances in AI will offer ways to tackle some of society's biggest challenges, yet they will also introduce major risks to international peace and security. Frontier AI systems will be extremely powerful if things continue according to the current trends. And misuse or careless use of this power by any individual, country, or company could create widespread disruption. I am currently chairing the International AI Safety Report, an international mandate following a resolution made by 30 countries, the EU, the OECD, and the UN. It is the first of its kind international report to set out an up-to-date, science-based understanding of the safety of advanced AI systems. It's being developed by more than 100 AI independent experts, and it's intended to provide a base of scientific evidence to inform policy. It identifies areas of scientific consensus as well as areas where there are different views or gaps in the current scientific understanding. I want to touch briefly today on the 3 risks outlined in the report that are particularly relevant to today's discussion. First, market and power concentration. AI models, which might be soon more capable or as capable as humans, could provide a strategic advantage on a global scale. This power could be used to create new powerful technologies and tip the balance in favor of a few companies, countries, or individuals, potentially enabling a disproportionate economic, political, or military concentration of power. Second, risks from malicious use. AI could also be used by malicious actors by lowering barriers to chemical and biological weapons development, facilitating cyber attacks, this is already happening, or helping design sophisticated persuasion and disinformation campaigns. And we see already AI capabilities in this respect improving fast. Third, the risk of misalignment, and at its extreme, the loss of human control to advanced AI. Again, we don't know currently how to reliably align and control the most advanced AIs, the ones that already exist. When they become more capable, this could have incredible consequences. Right now, this already causes serious issues, as we've seen with recent tragic incidents, for example, involving chatbots that are contributing to endangering individuals experiencing mental health crisis, or making it easier to create deepfakes that could be very consequential for individuals as well as societies. If the capabilities of AI models continue to increase and eventually beyond human levels without scientific guarantees that they are safe and aligned with our intentions, I believe we could reach a point where AI could operate irreversibly outside of anyone's control, putting humanity as a whole at risk. We need to plan for these possibilities, even if their probability is small. We must be careful to not cede our collective human and national sovereignty to companies or the models they deploy, so that we can take the right and wise decisions as we move forward. We must act now to mitigate all of these risks together. This is not a problem confined to a single nation's border, but one that threatens all of us. We must mobilize our best minds and make substantial investments to innovate on both fronts of science and governance. On the science and technical side, we need to significantly increase global research endeavors focused on safe and trustworthy AI. I've recently launched my own project called Law Zero, a nonprofit to work on scientist AI, which tries to build AI so that it will be safe by design and provide a guardrail that checks that other AIs will satisfy our safety specifications, will behave according to our instructions. But we need many more such projects. If we want to build effective global agreements on AI use, it is not sufficient to make these kinds of technical progress. We also need technical advances on verification technology, just like we did for nuclear. Because countries may not trust each other. So if we want to have agreements, they need to be verifiable. And work is currently going on both on the software side and the hardware side to allow us to build trust with international partners. On this subject, I'd like to refer you to the UN brief from the Scientific Advisory Board of the Secretary General on this topic. So this was on the technical side. On the governance side, earlier this week, with 200 people, 200 experts, including former heads of state and Nobel laureates and recipients, we came together to support the establishment of international red lines to prevent unacceptable AI risks. Governments must have substantial visibility and control over these technological advances instead of letting very important decisions being taken behind closed doors. Transparency is the most important element that will increase public protection and the global interests. In addition, we need to innovate beyond the existing mechanisms of accountability and multilateral governance surrounding AI to make sure we achieve the three following goals. First, AI is developed safely by everyone on this planet. Second, AI is not abused to gain an unfair advantage over other nations or competitors. And three, we need to make sure that the benefits of AI are shared globally, for example, advances in medicine or the environment. If we develop and manage AI safely, it does offer extraordinary opportunities to improve human life and enhance our collective security. As will have the opportunity to discuss today. I'd like to end this with a few concluding thoughts that I have taken from the International AI Safety Report, stating the following. First, the future of general-purpose AI, the most advanced or frontier AI, is uncertain. Many scenarios are possible. Second, both very positive and very negative outcomes are possible, which means we need to prepare for all the plausible scenarios, the positive ones and the negative ones. And much depends on how our societies and governments will act. AI does not happen to us. We, and particularly you, as decision makers, have the power to shape its trajectory so that it benefits the world. Thank you again for this opportunity. I look forward to discussing this important topic with you today. Thank you.
네, 우리 벤지오 교수님 브리핑 잘 들었습니다. 고맙습니다. 이제 최예진 스탠포드 대학의 인간 중심의 인공지능 연구소 교수님의 브리핑을 들어보겠습니다.
Thank you, Mr. President and the Secretary General and distinguished members of the Security Council. It is such a privilege to join you today. As someone who grew up in South Korea and has devoted my career to advancing artificial intelligence, it is deeply meaningful to contribute to this very dialogue under the presidency of the Republic of Korea and at such a pivotal moment of global importance. I have spent more than 2 decades as a computer scientist, seeking to understand how machines might interpret the world in ways more like us humans do. My work asks whether intelligence can be built in forms that are not just powerful, but genuinely reflective of humanity. We stand today at an extraordinary inflection point. AI dazzles us with achievements that only years ago seemed impossible. In particular, I am deeply motivated by how AI is accelerating scientific discovery, from advancing medicine to exploring the natural world, to expand the horizons of human knowledge. But this promise is accompanied by scientific limits and societal choices. Today, I want to talk about one of those choices: choosing intelligence that is not only powerful, but accessible, robust, and efficient. Because when only a few have the resources to build and benefit from AI, we really leave the rest of the world waiting at the door. So my message to you today is simple. Let us expand what intelligence can be, and let everyone, everywhere, have a role in building it. The new need for new scientific frontiers. Scientific history shows us that breakthroughs rarely come from staying in the same lane. At critical moments, new methods and new ways of thinking open entire fields. In AI, however, much of the energy and the investment has converged on one model of progress, which is scaling. In recent years, developers have sought to build AI systems using ever larger data sets and computing power. This approach has delivered impressive results, while also leading to a reality where the most advanced models are built by a mere handful of companies in just a few countries. This concentration in the hands of a few really narrows both our science and who gets to shape it. When most of the world lacks the resources to experiment at the frontier, we lose a diversity of perspectives from researchers, institutions, and societies that could lead to important discoveries and pivots. The task before us, then, is to expand the frontier, to cultivate space for alternative approaches, to encourage curiosity-driven science, and to support bold exploration. Science has historically leapt forward when we have taken risks and opened the door for more voices to contribute to discovery. We can and must pursue alternative approaches to AI development that are more adaptive, more resilient, and broadly accessible to the global community. Striving for global access and representation in AI. Okay, so what might those alternatives paths mean in practice? Expanding the frontier is not only about new scientific methods for achieving intelligence. It is also about how we choose to think about access. Who can build advanced AI systems? To whom are they accessible? Whose voices do they include? And whose values do they reflect? If AI is to truly benefit humanity, global access must be the North Star. That means pushing the frontier along two dimensions. The first dimension is to build AI that is smaller. If we really want to democratize AI, we must rethink how our dependence on massive scale data and computing resources from the outset, and design methods that can do more with less. For example, systems that can learn with far less data, adapt through interaction, and recognize what they do not know. Children gain common sense not by reading endless words on the internet, but by observing the world around them. How can we design AI systems that learn in the same spirit? Models that achieve strong performance while lowering the barriers to entry would open the frontiers to researchers, institutions, and governments worldwide. The second dimension is to ensuring AI systems represent and serve all communities. We should recenter what truly matters to humanity: linguistic diversity, cultural breadth, and pluralistic values. Today's leading AI models underperform for many non-English languages and reflect narrow cultural assumptions. These flaws lead to the systematic exclusion of entire communities from AI's benefits, and they cannot be cured simply by patching gaps after the fact. What's required is to rethink the foundations, the training data, learning objectives, and evaluation methods, so that systems are built from the start to be robust across languages, context, and perspectives. Accomplishing this will rest on answers to open research questions across disciplines. What does meaningful linguistic fluency in AI look like? How do we measure value alignment across societies? Who must be at the table when decisions are made? These are only some of the questions we must address through interdisciplinary, cross-cultural collaboration. Every country and community has unique expertise to contribute, expertise that is indispensable when building AI systems that truly serve the world. So here's a call for bold and collective investment. I want to leave you today with 3 considerations for how all of us can begin to make inroads on these issues. First, invest in high-risk, high-reward science. Because market-driven forces tend to favor short-term, profit-driven research and development, governments and international bodies must fund bold experiments that look uncertain today, but promise to open new frontiers tomorrow. Second, build shared public AI infrastructure. We need open, multilingual, and multimodal data sets, rigorous benchmarks that test for cultural pluralism and real-world applications, and shared compute resources for academic institutions and the nations otherwise left out. These are not just nice to haves. These are essential foundations to expand the talent and ideas that drive discovery. Third, prioritize capacity building. Fellowships and exchanges that connect researchers across borders, advanced training programs that equip the next generation with cutting-edge skills, and collaborative institutes that sustain long-term partnerships are all crucial. Innovation can emerge from many paths, and the next breakthrough may come from where we least expected it. There's still so much we can and must do to achieve more global access and representation in AI. Progress on these fronts will not be easy. It demands our willingness to take paths less traveled and to set aside narrow competition in favor of collaborating for the common good. Thank you again, Mr. President, and the Secretary General and distinguished members of the Security Council for the privilege of speaking to you today.
네, 최혜진 교수님 수고하셨습니다. 브리핑 잘 들었습니다. 이제 대한민국 대통령으로서 발언을 잠시 하도록 하겠습니다. 구테레시 사무총장님, 그리고 여수와 벤지오 교수님, 최혜진 교수님 세 분의 깊은 통찰이 담긴 말씀에 감사드립니다. 세 분 말씀을 듣다 보니 현재 AI는 새끼 호랑이와 같다라고 하던 제프리 힌튼 교수의 말이 떠올랐습니다. 우리 앞에 새끼 호랑이는 우리를 잡아먹을 사나운 맹수가 될 수도 있고 K-팝 데몬 헌터스에 나오는 사랑스러운 더피가 될 수도 있습니다. 똑같은 칼도 요리사에게는 다른 사람을 행복하게 만들 훌륭한 도구지만 강도에게는 그저 남을 해치는 위협적인 무기입니다. 특히 AI는 지식과 정보 처리 전 과정에서 가장 파괴적 혁신을 가져올 발명품이고 심지어 스스로 인간처럼 판단과 결정까지 내릴 수도 있습니다. 따라서 우리가 AI라는 도구를 어떻게 다룰 것인지에 따라서 우리 앞에는 전혀 다른 미래가 펼쳐지게 됩니다. AI를 잘 활용한다면 저성장, 고물가 같은 난제를 해결해서 새로운 번영의 길을 열어내고 의료, 식량, 교육 등 여러 문제에 해답을 줄 수도 있습니다. 그러나 변화에 대비하지 못한 채 끌려간다면 극심한 기술 격차가 철의 장막을 능가하는 실리콘 장막으로 작동해서 전 세계적인 불평등과 불균형을 심화시킬 것입니다. 명과 암이 공존하는 AI 시대의 변화를 기회로 만들 방법은 국제사회가 단합해서 책임있는 이용의 원칙을 바로 세우는 것뿐입니다. 만일 많은 전문가의 경고대로 인공지능이 인류를 위협하고 멸종시킨다면 아마도 그 이유는 우리가 이 거대한 변화에 걸맞는 인류 공통의 규범을 만들어내지 못했기 때문일 것입니다. 인공지능 기술력이 곧 국력이자 경제력이자 안보 역량인 시대, 과거 러다이트 운동처럼 기술 발전을 역행시키는 일은 가능하지도 않고 현실적이지도 않습니다. 유일하고도 현명한 대체는 국익을 위해서 경쟁하되 모두의 이익을 위해 협력하는 것입니다. 각국 정부와 학계, 산업계, 시민사회가 머리를 맞대고 지혜를 모아야 모두를 위한 AI, 인간 중심의 포용적 AI로의 혁신을 이뤄낼 수 있습니다. 특히 안보리의 역할과 책임이 더욱 막중해졌습니다. 수많은 사람의 삶과 생명이 달린 국제 평화와 안보 분야에서 인공지능이 무궁무진한 잠재력과 가능성 그리고 동시에 위험성을 내포하고 있기 때문입니다. 정보, 정찰부터 군수, 기획까지 군사 분야 전반에서 정확성과 정밀성을 높이고 작전의 효율성과 지휘체계의 혁신을 주도하고 있습니다. AI를 잘만 활용하면 대량 살상무기 확산을 감시하는 등 분쟁을 예방하고 평화를 유지하는 훌륭한 도구가 될 수도 있습니다. 우리가 보낸 인도적 지원이 적재적소에 신속하게 도달하도록 만들어 국제평화와 안보를 튼튼히 하는 일에 기여할 수 있습니다. 그러나 이 무시무시한 도구가 통제력을 상실한다면 허위 정보가 넘쳐나고 테러, 사이버 공격이 급증하는 디스토피아의 미래를 피할 수 없을 것입니다. 인공지능발 군비 경쟁으로 안보 불안은 더욱 커질지 모릅니다. 안보리는 그간 테러리즘, 사이버 공격, 팬데믹 같은 진화하는 위협에 적극 대처하며 국제사회의 방향과 비전을 제시해 왔습니다. 이제 인공지능 시대의 변화한 안보 환경을 분석하고 공동의 대응 방안을 찾아내야 합니다. 대한민국은 글로벌 책임 강국으로서 AI가 인류의 지속 가능한 미래를 만드는 훌륭한 도구가 될 수 있도록 국제사회와의 협력을 주도하는 길에 앞장설 것입니다. 대한민국은 이미 지난해 네덜란드와 함께 유엔총회 최초로 군사 분야 AI 결의안을 상정하고 AI의 책임 있는 군사적 이용에 관한 고위급 회의를 개최했습니다. 그 외에도 유엔 평화유지군의 허위정보 대응 역량 강화를 지원하였고 인권이사회 이사국으로서 신기술과 인권에 관한 결의를 주도했습니다. 지난해 5월 AI 서울 정상회의에서 서울선언을 채택하여 안전, 혁신, 포용의 3대 비전을 제시하기도 했고 APEC 의장국으로서 인공지능의 혁신이 인류 번영에 기여할 수 있도록 APEC AI 이니셔티브 채택을 추진하고 있기도 합니다. 이런 과정을 통해 무엇보다 기술 발전의 혜택을 함께 누리는 AI 기본사회, 모두의 AI가 새로운 시대의 뉴 노멀이 될 수 있도록 더욱 노력하고 있습니다. 각국 대표 여러분, AI가 불러올 문명사적 대전환 앞에서 인류는 오랜 역사 동안 함께 지켜온 보편 가치를 지켜내야 할 중요한 변곡점을 지나고 있습니다. 인류 문명은 늘 도전에 맞서 응전해왔고 어떤 절망을 마주해도 더 나은 세계를 향해 나아가겠다는 희망을 잃지 않았기에 지금의 진보를 만들어낼 수 있었습니다. 위기 속에서도 언제나 세계 평화와 공동 번영의 길을 찾아온 유엔의 빛나는 역사에 그 답이 있습니다. 우리 앞에 주어진 새로운 시대적 사명을 마다하지 맙시다. AI가 가져올 변화를 인류가 재도약할 발판으로 만들어냅시다. 경청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 이제 다시 또 안보리 의장으로서의 역할을 시작하겠습니다. 하산 세이크 모하무드 소말리아 대통령님의 발언을 듣겠습니다.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to begin by expressing our appreciation to the Republic of Korea for convening in this important debate and for its leadership in building a shared vision on artificial intelligence's role in international peace and security. We are also grateful to the Secretary General for his insight, remarks, and to all the briefers for their contribution to this discussion. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant prospect. It is already rapidly transforming societies, economies, and our approach to peace and security as well. It brings both remarkable promise and profound risk, as experts presented here. With responsible governance, its ability to revolutionize early warning, crisis prevention, and humanitarian response is undeniable. Yet, as its capabilities spread often unevenly, the risk of misuse grows, potentially creating new avenues for instability. Therefore, it's our collective responsibility to ensure AI advances international peace and security and to guide its use for the benefit of all. To this end, I would like to propose the following three core priorities. First, we must establish clear global standards for the responsible use of AI. AI must operate within a framework of international law and respect for human rights and human dignity. The Security Council should champion efforts to develop comprehensive guidelines that ensure AI is used ethically and transparently across all peacekeeping and security operations globally. These standards should address issues such as algorithm bias, privacy, and the protection of vulnerable groups.